Very good afternoon to all of you. Thanks for joining us here on Mirror Now. I am Afrida Rahman Ali. First up, updates from Maharashtra on the major stumbling blocks that are leading to low testing in the state. A critical shortage of testing laboratories and infrastructure related to RTPCR test for COVID-19 is now becoming the top reason for 6 districts of Maharashtra continuing to report an alarming rate of COVID cases. State government officials have in fact told Mirror Now that over-dependence on the less reliable antigen tests is leading to failure in detection of cases, causing a much higher weekly positivity rate. Data shows there's at least 15% shortfall in the minimum prescribed ratio of 70% of RT-PCR tests versus 30% of Rapid-Antigen tests. Curiously, while low level of RT-PCR tests prompted the state to issue fresh orders to conduct maximum tests, district officials say that a crippling shortage of test kits and manpower remain major hurdles. So here is a issue that has been identified at this point of time as the reason why there is a rise in the positivity rate in the state of Maharashtra. Let me go across to Disha joining us with more inputs. So Disha, this is a very important aspect that we are tracking now. We're trying to look at what could be the reason why certain districts, 6 districts of Maharashtra at least, still posting an alarming increase in the rate of COVID cases. What have we found out?
Well, that is right, Afrida. Specifically in the 7 districts of the state, which includes Pune, Beed, Solapur, Satara, Sangli, Ahmednagar, and even Sindhudurg for that matter, the positivity rate continues to be much higher than the state average, nearly double, and that is the cause of concern specifically for the district officials, Afrida. And what we know the reason is because more antigen tests are conducted than the RT-PCR test. And why this is important here to highlight, because if the RT-PCR tests are done low, then that would of course result to higher positivity rate, because to calculate the average weekly positivity rate data, the Maharashtra government only collects samples which is done via RT-PCR. So if the RT-PCR tests are done very low, then that is one of the biggest concern. The positivity rate will continue to go high, and secondly, the contact tracing won't really happen immediately or in a timely bound manner. And considering that is also one of the reasons why we are looking at an increase of COVID-19 cases every day, particularly coming from these districts. So now the district officials have been directed by the state government to ramp up the RT-PCR testing. But on the other hand, these district officials say that they do not have enough infrastructure, they do not have enough labs, and even if they have few labs, they do not have enough manpower. There's a shortage of RT-PCR kits, and that is why they are more dependent on the antigen kits. So this is of course the cause of concern. And when we spoke to the Maharashtra state government, in fact we are here trying to get word from them. They have only said that they are trying to come up with certain solutions specifically in the rural areas, because that is where more the crisis is.
Right. Thanks, Disha, for joining us with the latest inputs on this story.